One of the ideas discussed often in manifestation circles is lack and the necessity of not being in this place of lack when you're trying to bring things into fruition. Some people say that that's essential. Some people say that it's irrelevant. But I think everybody can agree that lack is a topic so deep it can make your head spin if you think about it too long and if you hold on to the emotion of it. Guys, this is the number one reason, in my personal opinion, why you are struggling against the matrix, the Maya, the illusion around you in respects to bringing things into your quantum field quickly. Meaning, when will I see this thing, Joseph? When will I see that money, Joseph? When will I see my wife, Joseph? Well, the man that has the thing that you want never holds on to those former thoughts. Let me continue. When Neville talks about not willing the how or the why, I think he's touching on something adjacent to the lack issue. If I am trying to will the exact details of my desired experience, I end up in a de facto lack state. I hope you're seeing the correlation here. I'm forced to do something, even if that something I'm doing is burdening myself with perfectly crafting every detail of my desired outcome. I think a more effective strategy can be to let your desire happen instead of make or force them to happen. When you start from a place of saying the existence of my desire means I am meant to experience it, that is why it arose in the first place. And what I've been doing is standing in the way of the natural effortlessness of that manifestation process. Then you take a lot of pressure off yourself. A lot of you are pushing your noses to that grindstone so hard that you're not stepping back and letting the process happen in and of itself. It is not about a getting. It is about who are you becoming. You do not get the thing that you want. You become the person who is consistent with the things that you want. Let me say that one more time. You don't get the things that you want. You become the person that has the things that you want first. So it's about congruence with the higher ideal of yourself. And then these things just, they magnetize to you. It's like the universe is watching you and going, Joseph's energy is different. A couple of weeks ago, he was in the he was in the emotion of desire, of lacking, of not having. He was constantly going, where are the things that I wish to come into fruition? And we were just reaffirming through his environment that he's never going to get those things. If you're always in a state of wanting, you're never in a state of having. But when Joseph changed his paradigm, his energy, his vibration, his perspective, and he became consistent with that individual that is content with his environment of having, then we recognized his reality is not consistent with the energy that he's holding. We need to give him that reality which is consistent with the having. Hope you're following here. So instead of relying on brute force to reprogram your conscious and subconscious state, a monumental effort if you have a lot of emotional hang-ups, you can just make an effort to stop sabotaging the natural flow of energy in your life. And to this particular individual, that was a monumental shift. When you let things happen, your entire perspective on the world changes. Instead of climbing a mountain, fighting against the natural order of your reality, you'll be following the river downstream, going with the flow, so to speak. The analogy I like to give is very, very similar to that, but if you're going to follow the river of life, the easiest place in the river is in the middle. If you try and clutch at the banks and the roots of the trees, then you're going to hurt your grip. It's going to become painful. Let go of the control aspect. Let go of your ego. Let go of how these things will unfold. Let go of the how. Just sink into the flow and let things go and trust. Have faith. Have faith. That is a critical component of what Neville's whole premise of the state akin to sleep and bringing things into your reality is faith in the having. and the letting go of the why, the process, the methodology, which I know is very difficult if you're a rational thinker and you depend on reason. Let reason go. Let it go. So a consequence of this is that little things change in thinking, feeling, and knowing end up paying major dividends almost immediately. When I'm pushing a boulder up the mountain, the first moment I falter, I'll tumble right back down to where I started. When I move with the current, however, every subsequent obstacle in my mind that I overcome allows me to move more and more swiftly into that flow. And if I encounter a setback, I might slow my progress a bit, but it won't reverse it. I'll still be moving faster than when I started out. I think little perspective shifts like this can have a major impact. Lester Levinson, a teacher referenced often, always said, "Be not the doer." His point was, to do by default means the world is in a state of resistance to your desires. That's quite a phenomenal paradigm shift, actually. So we'll just reiterate that. If you're always in a state of doing, in a state of trying to make things happen, then you're constantly affirming to the world that there is something to be done. There is a resistance to overcome. That there is a challenge that you must overcome. That if it weren't, you wouldn't have to do anything. Things would just fall into place. Now, all this doesn't mean that you should literally sit still in your room all day and never act, which is a common argument I can think many of you are thinking at this present moment. But try your best to just adjust your mentality at the highest level. Meaning the world is on your side. It's not fighting against you and you don't have to fight against it. If you haven't been making any progress, just know that the second you lighten the burden on your consciousness, you'll return to moving with the flow of life, of the Tao, of yoga. And as always, good luck. One of the top comments here is, forcing has never been an effective manifestation method. It has always. Living at the end is simply a state that denotes that you should be living in the end perspective of the person that you wish to become. Meaning, if you could click your fingers right now and you become that Joseph, that Aaron, that Chris, whoever you are, at his pinnacle, at his highest, how would you be living? Live in the end. Live in the end of your desires. Live at the end of your desires. What time would the greatest version of you wake up? He might wake up at 6 a.m., right? What time does he go to bed? What does he eat? What does he drink? How does he feel on a day-to-day basis? What are his habits? Guys, even when you have the things that you want, the day still goes on. Even when you get that Ferrari, the day still goes on. You still have to fill your time up with things that are consistent with the individual that has that Ferrari. What are those things? Once you can answer those questions and you can live in that state, that's everything done. Gentlemen, today, these are not theories. These are facts. Speak soon.